It is officially my first vlog back after my unplanned hiatus. My plan for this reading vlog is going to be, I think, mood reading new releases. There's a whole bunch of new releases that have come out since like February that I've just been dying to get to, so I thought we could just see what tickles our fancy as the week goes by and mood read various different new releases. I think I know which 3 I want to pick up in this video, but I'm leaving it open and I'm only going to show you what I'm going to start immediately, just in case I change my mind. But there's some really good options today, well, for this video, today for you guys, I suppose. So I am very excited, but the first book that we're going to start with is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. You would have seen if you watched the 51 books I've read so far this year video. I did a reread of the first 2 books in this trilogy in preparation for Fearless, just so that I 100% understood everything that was going on in it. And yeah, I'm all caught up apart from this one now in the series, so it's about time that we read this. I received this for my birthday a week ago and I've just been dying to get around to it. It's like a stunning book and I'm very intrigued by it because I know it reuses a trope, kind of a trope, from book 1, and I'm very intrigued to see how Lauren Roberts is gonna do that. I've heard mixed reviews on this book, but generally within this series I've had like polar opposite feelings to everyone else, where everyone loved book 1 and gave it 5 stars and then didn't really like book 2. I had the flip. I didn't really like book 1. I gave it, I think, 3.5 or a 3, and then book 2 I gave a 4.5 star. So my feelings are a little bit different, so I'm trying not to go off of anyone's reviews too much, such as like Sarah or Destiny, because I had like polar opposite feelings regarding the rest of the series. So yeah, I can't really predict how I'm gonna feel about this one. I'm hoping I'll enjoy it. But I'm just very intrigued to see how she's gonna wrap up everything. I think I did see some people say that they were still left with a few questions, and I think we're getting another novella within the world, so I don't think it's like 100% wrapped up yet, but we're not getting another full-length novel, I believe. So yeah, I'm just really intrigued. I feel like I keep saying that, but I don't know. I've honestly done so well avoiding spoilers. I don't know a single thing other than like the reused trope that happens in this book, and I'm so happy about that because usually I go into these new releases knowing everything, and I'm doing really well at avoiding everything these days. Another siren is going past. This is the 4th one in this clip of 3 minutes. That's actually insane. I've been filming for 3.5 minutes. Anyway, this is the first book we're gonna pick up in this video, and I'm literally gonna start reading it right now. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Let's just get into reading the first book of this vlog. I'm here with updates. It might be a little loud because the window's open. You're gonna have to deal with it. It's hot. Well, it's warm. It's warmer today. It's sunny again. Thank goodness. But I am back with updates because I was reading Fearless last night. Guys, I'm actually like, I haven't been this invested in like a fantasy plot, I feel like, in a really long time. Everything that's happening in this book is just so... Okay, that's a loud car. Or I think it's a bike. Yeah, everything that's happening in this book is just so unexpected, and I'm just confused. I think it was in Sarah's video, she was like, there was an unexpected point of view in this book that I didn't think we were gonna get, and I thought I knew who it was. I did not know who it was. Guys, I was not expecting this point of view in the slightest. Like, I'm actually baffled, but so intrigued to see what that perspective is gonna, like, mean for the story. I don't even know. But all that being said, I'm on page 100, or 101, which is chapter 13. So I made a little bit of progress last night, but nothing crazy. I'm a fifth of the way through, to be exact. And I'm going to be reading some more today, but I've actually decided I'm going to get the audiobook for it. I actually haven't bought it yet, because I have a credit. So I'm going to get the audiobook, and I have been playing a whole bunch of Minecraft recently, and I have a few things I need to grind within the game. So we're just going to get the audiobook and listen to that whilst grinding the game. So those are my plans for today. I also want a puzzle, so I just thought, like, for all the things I want to kind of do today, having the audiobook would be really useful. So I've just gone for it, and hopefully it's good. I haven't listened to any of the others on audio, so I'm unfamiliar with the narrators. I do think I know Kai's narrator though, so yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm just going to listen to as much of this as I can, and I will update you throughout the reading experience. So, guys, as you would have seen briefly, I was reading Fearless on the train yesterday, and honestly, I read like a whole bunch of it. Like, I read a lot, and I'm basically finished, but I thought I would give everyone like a really quick update before I sit here and finish the last 50 pages of this book, because yes, I am on page 472, so I'm like basically done with this book. Sorry, I really don't like how my head looks. Anyway, I'm basically done with this book, and honestly, it's been crazy. Like, reading this on the train, I was trying to like stifle my reactions, because I was just in shock for most of this reading experience. You know, the author really like threw in some big plot twists and drama, and like there was kind of some stuff that you could figure out on your own before it was revealed in the book, and it was just, it's been a very fun reading experience. I still have 50 pages left, so I don't know exactly how it's gonna end, but I feel like I have a good inclination of where it's headed. But it's just been so fun, honestly. I think I'm leaning towards a 4-star for this one so far. We'll see what the last 50 pages entail, because it could swing it either way, but I'm thinking it's going to end up on a 4-star, just based on how everything has been going thus far. I really can't tell you anything like crazy about what's been happening, because it's huge spoilers, but I've been enjoying like most elements of it. Just one thing, like one kind of route we've taken with a certain character, I don't enjoy, because it kind of feels like it's being pulled out to make it useful, and there hasn't really been any proof of it like embedded throughout the story. You know what I mean? But we'll see. Maybe we'll get more explanation as to why this character like went the way they did. But other than that, it has been fun. It's been fun. I still think the second book is my favorite, which is crazy because I think that's most people's least favorite. But I think people just have really differing like opinions on this series as a whole, and like which books specifically you like or dislike. But yeah, for me this one's probably number 2. I think I liked the first book the least. This isn't important. Something I love about a fantasy book is when you're reading and you can slowly figure out what the cover of the book means, because I now know what like every element of this cover means for the book, and that has been very interesting. that's where we're at with all of that. I'm gonna sit here and finish it, and then we can pick our second book, which I think I know what it's gonna be, but I will keep it a secret from you guys, and you'll find out when I actually pick it up. Before we go, I want to show you guys one gift I got yesterday. So we went to celebrate Leon's sister's birthday, but it was my birthday last weekend and I hadn't seen them yet, so there was a couple gifts that I also received yesterday, even though it was not my birthday. And I have to show you guys this one. It is related to the shirt I'm wearing. We should all know by now how much I love Miffy, and they have had this for like a year almost, like maybe 10 months. This Miffy from when we went to Belgium last year all together. They knew that I love Miffy and they saw this in one of the stores, and I guess they bought it because I received it yesterday for my birthday, and I feel like you guys are on such a wonk. Anyway, I just wanted to share the Miffy because she is so cute. She's sitting with me in my desk chair. That's where I'm gonna keep her, and when I'm like in my desk chair, I'm putting her on my desk, but I love her, so I had to share her. But I'm gonna go because the washing machine is on and it's so loud, and I just want to wrap up these 50 pages of Fearless and get some good reading done. So let's go and finish the book. It is so hot, so we're gonna keep this short and sweet, but I have updates. I did end up finishing Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I think I'm settling on a 4-star for this one, but it feels like a little bit less than a 4-star, but like not quite a 3.75. So we're still gonna go with the 4, but it's like, just, you know, it's like not quite. It's just like a tad under, if that even makes sense to anybody else's brain apart from mine. Also, the windows are open, it's going to be loud. I'm not closing them for you guys, no. But my only issues with this, and I've seen people's reviews saying the same thing, is the ending was relatively rushed. Like those final 50 pages that I told you guys I had to read, they felt quite, like, what happened in them felt quite rushed. And unexplained. Like, I don't know, I feel like Lauren Roberts wanted us to feel a certain way about a certain character, and I just feel like we did not get enough evidence after a certain reveal to then feel that way, if that makes any sense. Again, trying not to like spoil it for anyone, but that's just kind of how I felt. And then also there was like kind of 2 epilogues, kind of. I personally didn't feel like we needed either of them. I think I could have done without them. It was like 10 pages between them both, kind of. I feel like that should have gone towards more explanation for the ending. I don't know. And then also finally, I felt like there were a few questions that were unanswered. I feel like if you've read it, you might have like the same questions. I just felt like there's still some things I just don't know or don't have an explanation for, and I'm kind of just like meant to be okay with that, like not having, like just kind of believing, you know, I don't know. But I still overall really enjoyed it. Like the rest of the book that I didn't really get to update you guys on too much was fantastic. I really liked the reintroduction, like, how do you say that word? Reintroduction? Is that a word? I don't know. But yeah, reintroduced. How it was reintroduced? Reintroduction. Sure, we'll go with that. Of like a trope from the first book. I think it was done tastefully in a way that it could have not been, if that makes sense. So that was really fun. I enjoyed watching the relationship flourish in this, because it also, like, how the relationship dynamic worked in this book. I didn't expect it to work so well. Like, I was stressed for the characters, but they managed to, you know, still, whatever. I'm trying not to give spoilers. But yeah, I was happy with how that all worked out. I felt like the rest of the book was paced really well, like fast-paced but in a good way, whereas the ending was fast-paced, like, in a not as good way. I don't know. But overall, I'm very happy with this. Loved it a lot more than the first one. I still think I maybe preferred the second one, or they're quite on par with one another. but this was really good. So we can now move on to our next read, our next new release, mood reading, new release, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be picking up Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This is the reverse of the UK The Works edition, if anyone's curious on why it's pretty in pink and purple with the edge. But this is the one I'm going to be reading next, and I'm actually excited for this one because I think my expectations have been adequately adjusted for the content I know is in this book. Again, if that makes any sense. I've heard that this, specifically Emily Henry, is like 80% plot, and then like a very small amount of the romance is present in this one. It more focuses on the plot, which is meant to be kind of like a Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo type vibe. I haven't read that book, I won't read that book, but I'm intrigued to see how that's all going to play out. And yeah, I just think I have good expectations for this one, so I'm really excited to read it, and I think I'm going to really enjoy it, hopefully. I just love an Emily Henry book, and I'm so excited to have like a brand new work from her. So we're going to delve into this one and start this one up today, and hopefully we can read a whole bunch of it, and hopefully I'm going to really enjoy it. So I have been reading. I haven't updated you guys since I started reading this, I don't think, but I'm here with an update for you today. I have been reading Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and can I just say, I love it. Like, I have been thoroughly enjoying myself, but I have not disliked any moment of this book, and I have to say I am very far through. I'm on page 296. I have about 130 pages left, so not a lot. We're actually going to finish her today. But it's just been so good. I've been really enjoying... Wait, did I give you guys a synopsis of this? I actually can't remember, but let's say I didn't. You have kind of almost like a dual narrative going on, in the sense that it's all one narrator, it's all Alice, but you kind of have, you know, her story with her and Hayden, kind of what's happening between them, and then you have kind of the second story within the story, which is Margaret Ives's story, which is the story that Hayden and Alice are competing to be able to write the book for. And I've really enjoyed that dual, you know, story going on. I think I've seen quite a few people being like, I just wasn't invested in like Margaret's story, and I disagree. I've been really enjoying it. Some of my favourite quotes thus far from the book have come from like her, like Margaret telling the story. And so I've just been really enjoying it. I love Hayden. I've been loving this book. I enjoy Alice. I like the setting. I like Margaret. Like, I have no issues with this book so far. And with 130 pages left, I can confidently say, unless everything goes very badly at the end, that this is going to be an easy 4 and above, 4.5, maybe even a 5. If the ending is, like, really good, like, that's where I'm at. So, you know, I've just been really enjoying myself, which is so good. I feel like we've had some decent reading in this vlog thus far, so I'm very happy about that. I'm gonna finish this up, like, maybe now, I don't know, and I will get back to you guys once I have finished her up, and then I will tell you what the third and final book is for this vlog. Okay, hello everyone. It's still hot, the window's open, the fan's on. I hope you enjoy the background ambient sounds. However, I am here to give you updates. It is now Wednesday. Also, I got a new phone case, please admire. And I have some updates because yesterday I actually ended up finishing Great But Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I settled on a 4.5 star for this one. I really enjoyed it. I'm kind of baffled. I think what's happened is I have looked at reviews from almost like the guinea pigs, the people who read the book without really seeing any reviews, and I've read their criticisms or their... Okay, thanks, Swim. Or just things that they're saying about the book, and I've altered my like expectations to align with that, where I feel like they didn't get that opportunity before they read it, and I think that's maybe why they were disappointed by it, because they hadn't, you know, kind of known what it was about going into it. And I think that really helped my reading experience. Was it different to a classic Emily Henry book? Yes, I think it was. It was very plot heavy where her others have not been. The romance was a subplot. I also think the issue was, so you get, it's kind of, I've seen, oh my god, hello. I've seen people compare it to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I haven't read that. I think I said that, and I don't plan on ever reading that book. But I saw that people said it's kind of like that in the fact that you have, like, interviews and someone interviewing, like, a very famous rich person about their past, and that's what's happening with Margaret in this. You have your main character, Alice, and she's interviewing Margaret kind of about, or she's competing with Hayden, the love interest, on who gets to write the book about Margaret Ives's life. But there's like a trial run where she's allowed to interview her and stuff, basically. And I think I've also seen quite a few people say that they just didn't really care about Margaret's story, and I definitely think if you don't care about Margaret's story, you're not going to like this book, because it is a very large and prevalent part. But for me, I loved Margaret's story, if not a little bit more than the romance. I loved the love interest, Hayden. I really liked him, but I definitely enjoyed Margaret's story a lot, and I was so invested in it, and I was getting like emotional from it and stuff. Like, it was, for me personally, really incredible. Yeah, that's like a large part of it, so bear that in mind. I saw, I think it was Emmy's review, she said it was 80% plot, 20% romance. I stand by that, so definitely go in with that expectation. And I do think if you go in with that expectation and you do enjoy books that aren't solely romance, then I don't see why you wouldn't enjoy this book. It still has that Emily Henry like twinge to it, you know, like it still feels like an Emily Henry. She's just trying to do something different, and I personally thought it worked really well. I thought it was great. So yeah, those are kind of my feelings with that. 4.5 stars, loved it. Hayden is definitely up there. Was he 10 times more attractive because his name is Hayden? Yes, maybe. But it was a really good book, and I definitely recommend it. Just go in open-minded, and that way you won't be disappointed by it. And then I was going to read a different book. I was going to read, and I don't want to disappoint people because I'm not reading it in this video, but I was going to read Silver Elite, that new dystopian book. And I've heard some mixed reviews, and I don't necessarily think that's put me off, because I've also seen some positive reviews. I do think I'm going to enjoy it, regardless of those negative reviews. But for some reason, yesterday I sat down to start it. I actually took a couple of like B-roll clips of me beginning to read it, and I was like, you know what? I want to read this, but not right now. This is not what I'm craving in this moment. Like, a dystopian read wasn't what I wanted. So you will have seen we actually end up starting Our Infinite Fates, which isn't as recent of a new release, but it was February, so I still feel like it fits in with the video. And also I think me changing my mind really fits in with the mood reading vibe of it all, you know, like I wasn't in the mood for Silver Elite, so I changed my mind. And we've landed on Our Infinite Fates, and I have to say, okay, I went into this knowing that everyone I've seen read this book hasn't really rated it above like a 3.5. I knew that going into it. However, I also knew that it was such a unique and me concept. Like, they fall in love in every lifetime, they have to kill each other in every lifetime. Such a me like concept that I couldn't not read it. I was like, you know what, I know it's probably not going to be the best, but there can't be a book with this synopsis and I don't read it. So I saw that it was 99p on Kindle, and I was like, you know what, let me just buy it. And then last night after I bought it, I was like, yeah, I don't want to read Silver Lily. I want to read this. And I've been reading it, and it's interesting. I think I saw Sarah Caroli say that it was very repetitive. I agree. However, it's still very fun. I'm still enjoying myself. It is somewhat repetitive, but I also think it's very beautiful. I think the main thing, the biggest mistake I have experienced thus far with this book, and I'm about 23% of the way in, by the way, is that it's YA. I don't know why this book is YA, and I've also never read from this author, so I'm imagining this is her age group. This is her, like, age genre that she writes for. However, I think for it to be so heartbreaking, to have the yearning and just to amplify what you're trying to do with it, I think an adult book would have worked so much better. And I don't know if that's just because I don't really read too much YA. I'm definitely more in the, like, new adult or adult age group when it comes to what I read these days, but I do just think this book would have worked 10 times better right off of, like, the jump if it was adult. I think that is gonna be its biggest downfall, is the age group, and I never really feel like that. I feel like a lot of, like, YA fantasy really works, but because this is based on love and romance and falling in love in every lifetime, I don't know, I just think it really would have worked better as an adult book. But all that being said, I'm still enthusiastic about it. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be kind of like a contradictory feeling, because I just love the premise so much, and there's some already really, really beautiful quotes within this book, but I just think it's not going to be executed quite how I would want it to be, and I do think it's already somewhat repetitive, and I imagine it's only going to get, like, more repetitive. It is, like, the nature of the story to be repetitive, because every year when they turn 18, you know, like, Arden, who is one of the characters, has to, like, kill Evelyn, and that's the nature of the story. So obviously it's gonna, like, when you're following different timelines, it's always gonna end this way, it's always gonna be the same. I don't know, maybe just different language used? I don't know. Hey, I'm rambling. I don't know, but those are my initial thoughts. I'm, yeah, almost a quarter of the way through this one. I have about 3 hours and 45 minutes left in the ebook, so I'm hoping to get it finished today, but if not, we will be finishing it up tomorrow morning, and I am very excited to wrap this one up. I'm just excited to read this because the concept is fascinating, but that's where we are at. 2 books down, we are in the final book of the video, and I am really having fun with these new releases. It's so fun reading new, like, brand new to everyone literature. I don't know. But I'm gonna go now, I'm gonna read more of this today, and we will just see how we get along. Also, this new Red Bull flavour is incredible. Okay, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I will see you later on when I have made more progress with Our Infinite Fates. Did I say I finished watching The Mormon Wives? That's out tomorrow. The next season. Was literally, like, sending all the footage over to my computer so that I could edit this vlog, and I realized I never filmed an outro for it, so we're gonna do that now together. I filmed this a little bit ago, so we're gonna be, you know, trying to recall. I say a little bit ago, maybe like a week ago I finished filming this video, but I've read literally like 8 books since then, so it's a bit fuzzy up here. but we're gonna see, you know, what we can get through. So obviously in this video we were mood reading new releases, and the first book that we started with was Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and this was finishing up the Powerless trilogy by her. And I ended up settling on a 4-star for this one. I did write in my review if I could give it a 3.9, I would, just because I felt like there were a few things missing. I felt like I still left this book with questions that needed to be answered, and they just weren't. I don't know if they will be. I believe there's one more novella to come. However, if my questions do get answered in that book, I don't know how I feel about, like, you know, having to read a novella to actually get everything wrapped up. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but alas, if they don't get answered, then I'm just annoyed, because why do we have a fantasy series and we haven't answered, like, every single question? That's just kind of annoying. But yeah, I did give this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I definitely preferred book 2 to book 3, but I preferred book 2 and 3 to book 1, if that makes sense. If we remember all the way back to me reading this series for the first time and reading the first book for the first time, I did not enjoy it that much. So it really is a shock that I'm sat here, you know, speaking about the third and final book that I actually quite enjoyed. I really liked how, sorry, my feet are like on the hardwood floor and it really hurts. I really like how Lauren Roberts was able to bring back, you know, kind of, I guess, one of the major, I'm starting to dislike tropes, but like tropes from the first book, and how she managed to kind of bring it back, but use it in a new and different way, and I think it really worked well for this book and the series. I was quite happy with it in the end. That was good. I enjoyed the stance that she took with the romance as well, because I think she could have done something very different with that, and I'm so glad, you know, that she didn't, if you know what I mean. Like, if you've read this book, I think you'll understand what I mean. Like, I'm just happy with how all of that managed to play out in the end. The main thing that I disliked, honestly, was the ending. How everything concluded, you know, kind of where we were at with a certain character. I did not like how his character kind of was finalized and wrapped up. I didn't enjoy that for them. Did I say him? I guess we're gonna commit to the him then. Yeah, I didn't enjoy that part. I also just feel like in general it's really difficult to end things. As someone who did write for university, I'm very aware that it is really difficult to end things, and I think this just had that to it as well. Like, I just think the ending could have been stronger, but I recognize that it's not like the easiest thing to do, to wrap up a 3.5 book series, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's just kind of where I was at with this one. That was the first book that we read, and then the second book that we read was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, and I gave this one a 4.5 star. I personally really enjoyed this one. It's not like my favourite Emily Henry of all time. Happy Place will always hold that spot in my heart. It just will. I am a happy place girl until my dying breath. I love that book, but this was phenomenal. I'm trying to remember like how extensively I've spoken about this within this video already, but I know that a lot of people have not been enjoying this one, and it's kind of collectively seeming like a least favourite for a lot of people in terms of Emily Henry books. I disagree. That still goes to book lovers for me, not a book lover fan. But again, I think that's the wonderful thing about Emily Henry's writing as well, is that every single person will have a different ranking, because there isn't truly like a bad Emily Henry book, because if you dislike it, someone out there, it will be their most favourite book. And I feel like every Emily Henry fan has a different favourite book. Like, I don't think there's a clear consensus on like a ranking of Emily Henry books, and I love that. And this one would probably sit like third for me, I think. Yeah, I think I would do top 3, guys. This isn't set in stone, this is just how I'm feeling right now as I'm thinking about it. I think my top 3 would be Happy Place, Funny Story, and then Great Big Beautiful Life. I think that's currently where I'm at. I will definitely be doing a full Hen reread one day though, so subject to change. But I just loved every element of this. I loved Hayden. I think I've already spoken about my Hayden Christensen obsession at the moment, so. But I loved Hayden. I loved Margaret. I think Margaret's story, was her name Margaret? Yeah, I think Margaret's story was my favourite element of this whole book. Hearing her life and her family's life through, I guess, Alice's, you know, interviews, it was so interesting. And I really, really enjoyed that aspect. I think that was my favourite aspect. And I think to enjoy this book, you will have to be interested in Margaret's story. I think I said that before. Like, if you are not invested in Margaret's story whatsoever, then I can totally understand why you may not love this book. However, a lot of people were saying it felt very different. And I don't know if it did to me. I think it just felt like Emily Henry. It felt like coming home to an Emma Henry book and it just being exactly what you needed it to be, because she always delivers. But yeah, I loved Alice. I loved Margaret's story. I loved the romance between Hayden and Alice. It was all just phenomenal and amazing to me, to be completely honest, and I don't really have any issues with it. It just didn't give me those 5-star feelings like Happy Place did. So that's why we settled on a 4.5 for this one. And then finally, I opened it up again on my Kindle and it's not showing me the cover, so I'm going to put it right here for you guys. But then we read Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. I don't know if I even gave you guys a midway update with this one. I genuinely have no recollection of me talking to you guys about this book. So I'm just going to kind of presume that I didn't really say that much on it. I don't know. But this one is like a YA fantasy book, kind of, and you're following these two characters whose names I can't remember through multiple lifetimes, like many lifetimes, and you kind of learn that he has to kill her in every lifetime, and the whole book you're kind of wondering why, and you're kind of witnessing their love story and how in every lifetime they always find each other, and most of the time they fall in love with one another before they then have to go into like a new life. And that was fine, that was good. You're kind of following one timeline predominantly, and then you get little flashbacks to like past lives that they've had together, and they kind of reference them in the current timeline, so then you're kind of shown what they're referencing. That was fun, that was fine. I enjoyed some of the quotes throughout it. I gave it 3.5 stars, by the way, and the reason for that rating predominantly would be that ending. There's like a big reveal at the end on like why they've been doing this, like who they are, because this started like honestly before, like almost at the beginning of time. Like it was a really long time ago that they first met, and they started doing this thing where before they turn 18 they die in every life. The reveal as to why was so underwhelming and so lackluster, and I literally read it and I was like, what? I was like, I hate this. I would go as far to, what the hell is that saying? I would go as far to say, yeah, I think that's it. I would go as far to say I hate it. I hated the ending of that book and the reveal. I gave it 3.5 because I did enjoy that beginning half, and I did enjoy learning their story, but yeah, I really didn't like that ending, and I think just didn't enjoy the fact that it was YA. I think it could have hit a lot harder if they were older and more mature in every lifetime. I don't know. I just felt like it could have done more for me if it was an adult book. So I'm kind of sad about that, but again, I just had to read it because the premise of like their fates being so intertwined and them kind of falling in love in every lifetime but having to kill each other in every lifetime, and it just being so tragic, sounded amazing to me, and I knew that people weren't loving it, but I had to give it a go, and I'm glad that I did. But yeah, 3.5. It just wasn't my favourite, and that twist really ruined it for me, if we're being completely honest. But that was all of the reading we did for this video, and I did honestly have a really good time. I mean, I enjoyed Fearless, I loved Great Big Beautiful Life, and I'm glad that I read Our Infinite Fates. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video. How many times? Take a shot every time I say video. But I'm glad you enjoyed this one. My next one is a really good one, actually. So keep an eye out for my next video. I hope to see you there. Please like and subscribe and do all of those fun things, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!